Hello, this is my audience for today. Say hi, guys. In every culture, we all have core values that shape us who we are. In Puerto Rico and Italy, they have fascinating cultures that make them their own. Today, I'm going to talk to you guys about 3 core main values that Italians and Puerto Ricans share. As a student who grew up in a Puerto Rican household, I believe it's very important to learn and understand different cultures. So the 3 most important values that Italians and Puerto Ricans share are family, respect, and pride of culture. I will also talk to you guys about how these cultures have affected my public speaking style. Let's begin with one of the most important values that these cultures share, which is family. The first and main core value that Puerto Ricans and Italians share is family. In Puerto Rico, family is the most important core value. According to Brooke Doffler, all value is placed within the group as a whole. In the nuclear family, they are very close to their relatives. In Italy, family is also very important to them. According to Viviana Amani and her colleagues, Italians have a strong support from their families. Also in the Italian culture, it's very common for relatives to live with the nuclear family in the same household. Although Puerto Ricans and Italians have the same value of family, they all have their differences. In Puerto Rico, according to Carol Hammer in the article Puerto Rico, it is usually the mother who has the most influence when it comes to teaching and instructing her children, but when she's absent, it's her relatives usually take that role. In Italy, the whole family contributes to teaching and instructing children. One thing to learn about Italy is that in the north and the south are different. So in the south, the families tend to be larger and more group-oriented, while in the north, families tend to be more smaller and individualistic. Yes. Now, another thing that's common in Italy is that children usually stay with their parents until their 30s. To me, I was a little confused with this norm, mainly because in other cultures, adults usually leave earlier from their parents' home, but I found out later in research that it's due to economic and regional circumstances, according to Giovanni Pomani. Now that we have looked at the family, let's look at the next core value, which is respect. The second core value that Puerto Ricans and Italians share is respect. In Puerto Rican culture, this is learned at a very early age. Children are expected to learn this very quickly. Puerto Ricans are very respectful towards their elderly and to those around them. In the Italian culture, respect is also taught at an early age. Italians are especially respectful towards their elderly. In fact, they're so respectful towards their elderly that they're usually the first person to go walk into a room, according to the article Italy. Now that we have seen the value of respect, let's move on to the third core value, which is pride of their culture. The third core value that Puerto Ricans and Italians share is pride in their culture. Puerto Ricans take a lot of pride in their culture. They are known for their food, their arts, their language, and the beautiful places that around the island. No matter where we are, Puerto Ricans are proud of where we're coming from. Italians also take pride in their culture. They're also known for their foods, their arts, and their rich history. Just like Puerto Ricans, wherever they are proud of their culture. After going over these core values, I'd like to explain how these cultures have affected my public speaking style. So growing up in a Hispanic and Puerto Rican household, I feel like it has given me more of a direct speaking style while I talk to my audience. It also helped me be more aware of how I speak to my audience. While learning more about the Italian culture, I feel like it could impact my public speaking style by being more aware of how I present myself to my audience. If I were to have audience members from Italy here, I would probably adjust my speaking style to be more expressive and be more aware of how I present myself. If my culture conflicts with audiences of another culture, I would probably adjust my speaking style to help them be more comfortable around how I speak. If I were to choose one thing from Italy to add into my own culture, it would be how they enjoy their meals together. I feel like this would be a good way to come closer to my own family. Also, if there are people whose family structure differs from my own, I would try to understand how they see their family roles and expectations and respect their differences. Finally, if I were a researcher studying more on the Italian culture, I feel like the most important thing to know about the Italian culture is how much they value family and having a good self-image. Now that we have learned about the cultural values and how it's affected my public speaking style, I'd like to summarize about that. Now, in summary, the main core values of Puerto Rico and Italy are family, respect, and pride of culture. To me, it's important to learn about other cultures and respect each other's values, norms, and practices. Thank you. Before I end my speech, I wanted to show my setup. So here is where I have my presentation. This was my lectern, and these were the notes that I used for my speech. They were my outline. Thank you.